Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm Lexi Petrovich. While law enforcement agencies across 4 states were left scrambling following reports of a major 911 outage that saw millions unable to contact authorities late on Wednesday. Many of the outages reported in Nebraska, Nevada, South Dakota, and Texas were restored by the late evening. The issue reportedly caused by the installation of a light pole, and it comes on the heels of a widespread AT&T outage in February that left thousands without service across multiple states and impacted some calls to 911 for hours, which the carrier said was likely caused by a process error. We want to bring in our next guest to talk more about this. Michael Martin, the CEO and founder of Rapid SOS. He joins us live now to talk more. Michael, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Lexi.
Absolutely. So obviously 2 of these major incidents happening now within the matter of the last couple of months here. What do we know about this particular outage and the specific locations that it impacted?
Yeah, so our team started observing outages around 9 p.m. Eastern time, or a little bit after that yesterday, and that persisted until a little bit past midnight Eastern time. As you mentioned, there was outages, fairly widespread outages across 3 states, Nevada, Nebraska, and South Dakota. And then we also saw a small region impacted in Texas as well. So in total, we observed a little over 3,000 emergency attempts during that window of time where the caller was not able to connect the call into the local 911 authority. Now, fortunately, 911 telecommunicators train for these circumstances, and we just saw, again, the incredible work of public safety in this country to manage through this sort of technical crisis and still provide assistance to thousands of people last night when they needed it.
Yeah, and of course, everyone, anytime a situation like this happens, is wondering, how did it happen? How did this occur? So I guess, how would you describe the way that these are typically reported or detected? Does it take someone having to call 911 in an emergency for crews to recognize that the system is down?
Yeah, unfortunately, the U.S. 911 system is not actually one system. It is thousands of different systems that were really date back to the 1950s and 1960s. And so the result is that there's actually many hops between your device and a 911 telecommunicator. And so if anything goes wrong in one of those hops along the way, you can actually start to have challenges and sometimes have calls that get lost or dropped, as we saw yesterday evening. So in this case, the local 911 agencies, we understand that most of them were informed about the outage shortly after, but these are things that 911 often has to figure out on their own, each of these local agencies. And once again, I think we saw really remarkable work. I mean, places like Las Vegas, Nevada, where they were proactively calling back every single person that tried to get through and still providing assistance to over 1,700 callers in that time window. So another example, just remarkable work from 911 last night.
Yeah, you mentioned Las Vegas. I wanted to ask you about their location in particular because, like you said, they were able to call people back who had tried to contact 911 in those emergency moments. So agencies, they're still able to see those calls coming through then, right, to be able to call back. Hopefully, it was within a sufficient time frame. But nonetheless, they were able to notice that and still give that call back.
Yeah, so agencies have a variety of different fallback solutions that they're going to be following in these sorts of circumstances. In the case of Las Vegas, Nevada, so basically there is a separate and redundant digital pathway from most devices through Rapid SOS into your local 911 agency that supports data. So in this case, these agencies were able to see your location for people that were in an emergency attempting to call 911 and also the contact information. And that proved to be really invaluable as 911 in Las Vegas just immediately switched into an emergency operation mode where they were calling back, reaching back out. We also know that many individuals were able to get through over text message. So there's a number of things that I think we can all learn from these circumstances and how we as citizens can better be prepared to reach emergency services regardless of the circumstances that we might be facing.
Yeah, and like you said, the 911 services offered through text, all their alternative options for people who are experiencing these outages. Do you think that anything was learned from what happened in February, or have these alternative options always been in place?
Yeah, I think that from every single one of these circumstances, we learn more, and we're looking forward to. I believe the FCC has already posted on social media that they're investigating this incident. So we'll be learning more in the coming weeks and months on this one in particular. But every time there is a major 911 disruption, there is lessons learned from that. And I think what we've seen is best practices are now across the United States public safety community on how we can switch to backup procedures, backup tools and operations to still provide assistance whenever individuals might have challenges getting through over a traditional voice network.
Yeah, Michael, thanks so much. A lot of really important information here. We talked with you back in February, and here we are again, obviously, two incidents that have been very concerning in recent months. Any other final thoughts here, words of advice to our viewers?
Yeah, I think this is important, I think, for all of us as well to learn from. So maybe I would leave Lexi with just kind of 5 things that I think we should all keep in mind when our communities might be facing one of these things. So number 1 is obviously do not call 911 unless you're in a real emergency. Number 2 is there's a variety of things you can do to set up your device to have the best chances of reaching 911 in an emergency possible. So ensuring it's connected to Wi-Fi calling is enabled. This can help, as we saw in the wireless carrier outage from a couple of months ago. You can try texting. That works in approximately 50% of 911 agencies in the United States. So that's another option to get through. And then what we were seeing in some communities last night is even if the voice didn't connect, places like Las Vegas were actually calling back. And sometimes that phone call may come back not actually as 911 in your caller ID, but actually from a 10-digit number coming through. So if you are attempting to call 911 and you're not getting through, just a reminder that answer the phone if you're getting an inbound phone call there, because hopefully it is 911 trying to reach you back.
Yeah, very interesting, and I'm glad that you said that too, especially in a day and age where we're seeing all these scam calls and whatnot. It's good to keep that in mind as well. All right, Michael Martin, CEO and founder of Rapid SOS, joining us here on Live Now from Fox. Michael, thanks so much. Really appreciate your time, insight, and knowledge.
Thank you, Lexi.